Well, for years on this show, we've documented how the Biden administration became the largest trafficker of children in the world. They carried out the intentional trafficking of hundreds of thousands of illegal child immigrants into the United States under the leadership of Alejandro Mayorkas at DHS. They did this through NGOs, which, of course, we've documented here on the show. Many of us have been asking the very important question, where are these children? Journalist Brianna Morello has been asking this question directly to the DHS. You brought these kids in. Where the hell are they? Yes, we know we have a new administration in place, but the swamp rats are still in place. Brianna got an answer in this bombshell report that she filed yesterday, and Brianna joins us now. Great to have you on the show for the first time. Welcome.
Thank
fellow
you for
Fox
having
News
me.
Alumnus. Nice to see you.
Yes. Yeah. This was a complete bombshell. And it's heartbreaking to kind of go over the numbers and to see what's actually happened. But like you just mentioned, the Biden administration did everything possible to help human traffickers out rather than protect these children. We've now confirmed, unfortunately, that HSI, which is out here trying to find these children, just make sure that they're okay, they're doing these well-being checks. Well, they've tried to reach out to 100,000 of these children. And sadly, 95% of the children they can't seem to find. And unfortunately, what's happening here is they were given fraudulent addresses, names, and they were poorly vetted, their sponsors prior. Now, this isn't any shade to the Trump administration. They're trying. This is more about the Biden administration and what they did, because they just allowed these kids to come into our country. They had no idea who they're handing them off to.
Right. I mean, these wellness checks, Brianna, these wellness checks were total BS under the Biden administration. Mm-hmm. I mean, we've talked to whistleblowers who, like, all they had to do was maybe make one phone call. And if the person didn't answer the phone, that was it. That was their wellness check. Like, there was no follow-up. They didn't go to the front door to see if these children were okay, even if these were their parents or relatives or anything. So these kids were likely killed, sold off in sex trafficking, dumped on the side of the road.
Oh, there were reports. Alejandro Mayorkas admitted there were reports of dropping them off at strip clubs. Bye, kid. Have a good life.
Yeah. So they knew that this was going to, I mean, are you surprised at all that HSI doesn't have any information through these wellness checks?
No, I'm not surprised. We had so many whistleblowers, like you said, who came forward and tried to put an end to this. And sadly, the federal government did everything within their power to shut them down and to make sure that they couldn't come out and speak out on this issue. And if you guys remember, too, during the first Trump administration, he started implementing DNA testing. So when those who were coming in as family units claiming to be the parents were tested, you could prove whether or not that they're actually their children. Well, unfortunately, the Biden administration shut that down and stopped the DNA testing. So one has to just wonder, were they doing everything within their power to make sure that they were making the jobs of these human traffickers a lot easier? And I mean, at this point, I'm sold on that. I think that the Biden administration knowingly put these children into the cartel's hands. Aaron Stevenson, who came forward as a DHS whistleblower, was screaming about this issue because he saw it years ago. And he tried warning the American people and tried telling the government what was happening. And as a result of that, he's been shut out of DHS. He doesn't have a job anymore with the agency. And he's been trying to come back and he's trying to go out there and help and recover these children. But sadly, his phone's not ringing these days. And speaking of that, I was actually I'm going to read it from my phone because it's gut wrenching too. But there was a tweet that kind of flew under the radar. HHS tried coming out and telling the American people that this is due to the Biden administration, that during the Biden years, so the start of August of 2023 till the inauguration, that ORR, which is the refugee resettlement program that they have, is digging through nearly 65,000 reports of concerns about unaccompanied alien children. Now, these reports were mostly ignored, many dismissed. Each one of these missed reports was a missed opportunity to protect these children. But specifically, and this is according to my sources, they were coming out and saying that when they were listening to these calls, these reports that the Biden administration failed to follow up on, these were in some cases children who were legally brought into our country, calling and asking our federal government for help because they were being sexually abused by adults. One example of a child that was calling our federal government asking for help was of a young man, or a young boy, I should say, who said that he was being being molested by adults, and our federal government did not answer his call for help.
My goodness. And there's another haunting story in the report we got last September of an officer that goes to a house. The woman says, actually, my husband is abusing this woman, this child that you've placed in our care. So you need to do something. And then the cops drove away, or the authorities drove away. They had no teeth to say, okay, we're going to take this girl or we'll investigate. So the U.S. government had credible reports of abuse and did nothing. So do they have teeth now to make this stop if, God willing, they find them?
Yeah, the Trump administration has it's an uphill battle. I mean, cleaning up the mess that was left from the previous administration is going to be not only a full-time job, but overtime. I mean, the reality is HSI needs all the assistance they could get. And I don't know if they have it currently within the current budget. Now, I'm obviously personally against growing these federal agencies, but they need more tools to find these children. I mean, we're talking about over 325,000 children who they need to track down. DHS saying we've only been able to confirm about 5,000 of those so far. Going through those numbers, knocking on those doors to see where these kids are, it's going to take forever. They could run the biometric data that they have, because anyone who comes into our country, they do pull your biometric information. They could try to find all of this, maybe search online. It's not likely that they're going to be able to find a lot of these children, unfortunately. And one must wonder, where are they right now?
Let me ask you a tough question, because over the past few weeks, I've been looking into the corruption at HSI, which, of course, for those of our audience that doesn't know, HSI has kind of flown under the radar. Mm-hmm. We talk about DHS. HSI is obviously a part of DHS. Why were there HSI agents in Butler, Pennsylvania, the day that Trump was shot? Why were there HSI agents at the Clarion Gun Club in Butler, Pennsylvania, with Thomas Crooks? So many questions and concerns about HSI trying to undermine Kristi Noem. Why did these people suddenly know that she was out to dinner at this particular location when she has her, she gets roughed up, basically has her purse stolen? Like, it's very convenient. So there are concerns that there's a rot inside Homeland Security, even among HSI. Do you feel like, talking to your sources, that they feel like, hey, these are all good guys surrounding me, we're really trying to find the children? Or do these sources that you're talking to feel like, I might be surrounded by rats here?
Yeah. I think for the most part over at HSI that they are a little bit more optimistic that people do have the best intentions. But I don't know if you could actually have the best intentions, because we've known about this for quite some time now, that this was happening for years now. And so if you had a position at HSI and you just were taking orders like a good boy or like a good girl, I can't trust you. I can't trust that you're well intent to go out there and to legitimately have the desire to find these children, because you had years to kind of make your desires known and you just decided to sit around and not do anything. But speaking of that too, I want to talk about other agencies as well, because my sources within the FBI are telling me that there's a massive effort to undermine both Deputy Director Dan Bongino and Director Kash Patel. And there's a lot of bad people there. Some even say bad, but there's more bad than good people at these agencies. So it's not just that too, the DOJ as well. We could just kind of talk about a little bit about the swatting that's been going on all around the country to conservative influencers. My sources tell me that the DOJ waited weeks before approving FBI agents to reach out to the victims in all of this. And this is literally just sitting at the DOJ, a lot of these individuals' desks. They have to get approval to reach out to media first. And so weeks delayed, and that's at the fault of DOJ. So I think that there's a lot more bad people at these agencies than good people, because even if you're just someone complying, you're still a bad person to me, because how do you sit around and watch all of this unravel without trying to get involved in stopping this?
Hallelujah.
Right,
I mean, you mentioned Aaron Stevenson. I mean, we've had, Tara Rodas on the show, like people who stood up, other members of DHS who stood up, were a part of these programs, and they like started looking into it. They're like, wait a second, we're sending these children to these homes and we don't even know. They're probably not even related. And what? And we're blowing the whistle.
Men? What?
And they were telling Congress this. They were telling Congress, telling Senator Johnson and others in front of Congress. And the Biden administration did nothing. So I totally agree with you. To me, I smell a dirty rat within these agencies. And I think if there are good people at HSI trying to find these children, It was a systemic hiding of these children. Like, they didn't want us to find them on purpose, right?
Yeah. Yeah. One must think. I mean, when you're sitting here and you're taking these addresses down, I believe it was Tara the one who even said it, like a lot of these addresses were repeated addresses that were coming up and coming up. And so, like, how can a sponsor like 8 kids at once? Logic would tell you that's not possible. And why are we allowing that to happen in the first place? And wouldn't you just send an agent over there to go look? I mean, they had the resources at the time. So it's all intentional at this point. But I do want to say that I do think that the Trump administration is dropping a major ball here. And I do want to just push the fact that I think that there needs to be a special task force involved in all of this, going out there and conducting these investigations. But we've just mentioned Aaron Stevenson, whistleblower, came forward for DHS. Tara, who's obviously another whistleblower, came forward. We've also said names like Steve Friend, who's an FBI whistleblower, Garrett O'Boyle. These are people who would love the opportunity to come back to these agencies and help find these kids. And sadly, their phones aren't ringing. And I am a little upset that they're not ringing. I continue to ask the White House, the FBI directly, DHS directly. And all I hear is crickets. These are patriots. These are Americans who, during our time of need, when we needed them to step up to the plate the most, they had no problem doing just that. So I think we need to apply a little bit of pressure for the administration to bring these guys back and to get them to do the job that they want to do, which is rescuing these children.
The website is independentnewsroom.com. That's where you can find Brianna's work on this and read her exclusive piece. HSI can't find 95% of the 100,000 that was their sample size. I mean, we know that it's probably closer to 400, even 500,000. So just of their sample size in your report, 100,000, they can't find 95% of them. A total failure. Brianna, great to see you. Thank you for joining us here on this Thursday for the first time. We hope you'll come back.
Thank you. I appreciate it.